Today we are going to talk about Form E and CP8D, which is the tax obligation of an employer in Malaysia. As an employer in Malaysia, there are many rules that you have to take note, one of which is by March 31st every year, you have to submit a summary of employees, number of employees, and summary of remuneration to the Inland Revenue Board. Fortunately, there is an extension until 30th April for you to submit this summary. So today we are going to talk about who and why and how to submit this Form E and CP8D. Just to highlight to you, this video is not going to be very short. It's going to be a very long video as we talk about every single detail of this form and the requirements. So my suggestion to you is to refer to the timestamp in the description below to jump to specific topic that you want to listen to. Let's start with the $1 million question: who should submit this Form E and CP8D? As long you have a E number, which is the employer tax number started from E, you are bound to submit this Form E, regardless whether you have any employees or not. Drill down to the details. If you are a sole proprietor or a partnership, my view is if you do not have any employees, you can choose not to submit, provided you are not given the E number. That means you don't have an E number and you do not have any employees, you can choose not to submit, because you are not bound to any rules. There is no employee in your company, so you are not required to submit. But if you are a Sendirian Berhad and a limited liability partnership, my view is you have to submit, because those are non-separate legal entities. Directors is deemed to be an employee of the company regardless whether there is any remuneration or not. Hence, my view is you have to submit. And rightfully, if you are in Sendirian Berhad or the private limited company, you are given an E number when you register your company's file. Question number 2 is how to register for E number. You can go to mytax.hasil.gov.my, look at the second column called E-Daftar. Go to E-Daftar, choose Employer and search. Fill up the details, which includes your company registration number, or if you know your C number or your tax number, you can fill it there. Your email, your phone number and mobile phone number. Enter the security phrase and search. If you have yet to register for E number, you will see this page in which they ask the company to register, which is the E-Daftar blue word. I need to apologize as our clients and also ourselves has already registered for the E number for many years. Hence, we do not have a live example or live sample to show you how it looks like. But what we can do is extract the information from the IRB's Inland Revenue Board's user manual and put it here, so you can refer to this user manual. You can go to E-Daftar. There are a number of things that you have to key in, which includes the company name, the commencement date of operation, what is the higher position, the company's address, phone number, and email. Part number 2 is to key in the director's name. In this case, if let's say you're the director, your name and residential address. Save. Part C, supposed to be C, there's a little typo there. Include the particulars of tax agent if there is any. You can skip if you do not have one. And lastly, the declaration of employer, in which you are the one that's submitting that. Make sure all the details are correct. Make sure your name is there. Save it and submit it. After you have submit, you will receive an acknowledgement copy like this on the right hand side, and also application status on the left hand side. Remember to print it out and save as a copy, because you are going to use that reference number to trace back your registration status. Question number 3 is how to submit Form E and CP8D. Now, there are 3 ways in general to submit them. Number 1 is through tax agent, like ourselves is tax agent. You can engage a tax agent and submit for you. That's number 1. Number 2 is you can use director's account to submit. As Malaysia practices self-assessment system, you can always ask the directors for his personal account in order for us to submit. Now, I just want to highlight one very important point here. In the past, the director has his own personal account, and also, on the other hand, he can go to IRB, Inland Revenue Board, to request for another employer's account. That means under his IC, there is 2 accounts. One is for director's personal, which is the personal tax, while the other one is for the employer. But effective 1st of January 2023, they combine them together, put them all together. That means effective this year, 2023, you no longer have both accounts, but only one account, which is the director's account. And yes, it is very sensitive for us to request for director's account to submit the information, because when you enter the director's account, all his tax payable will show there, and you will see all the list of companies there. May be very sensitive for him or her to disclose this information to you. So the other option is we can go for a representative. I'll come back to that in our point number 3. Now come back to director's account. If you want to submit via director's account, you can just go to mytax.hasil.gov.my. Click on the ID type, key in the password and also the IC number. After you enter, go to role selection, choose employer and the company's name. After you select that, basically the whole MyTax will go to the employer side of things. Click on Taxation Services, go to e-filing, choose your e-form, your year of assessment 2022, and proceed to submit your Form E. If you are using the third option, which is Director's Representative, log into Director's account. Via the same process, mytax.hasil.gov.my, go to role selection, choose the employer role selection, and on the right hand side, there's a little icon in which you can click that little icon, which shows like a person. Click that person, go to appointment of representative, key in the number of the IC of that representative, and then click submit. Once you submit, there is this green box showing that this has been submitted successfully. And the effect of this representative is immediate. Hence, once you have registered them immediately, the other end can access the file already. Now log into the representative account, in which going back to the same mytax.hasil.gov.my, go to role selection, and this time you will see this employer representative under the company's name. Go to Taxation Services, go to e-filing, e-form 2022, and start filling up your Form E. If you do not see the company in your list, probably that is a new company in which the system has yet to have any records and any information of the director. What you need to do is go back to the role, which is the person icon, click on role application. Under role type, click new application. Type of application, you click director of the company. And there are some supporting documents for you to submit, for example, your Form 49, or in New Companies Act, your Super Form 14. Use that to support your role as a director in the company so that they can open the access for you. Once you have submitted the documentation, a box will appear in which they say, oh, the new application has been processed. It will take 5 days for you to activate it. Now, just to highlight to you that this process will take 5 working days. Hence, I would really suggest everyone not to do it last minute. Register as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will have a hard time later, and I don't want you to have any unnecessary compound or penalty. Number 4 is what is CP8D and Form E? What are the details on these two forms? Let me give you a quick summary. Form E comes with 6 items, which is A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and A6. A1 is to record the number of employees at the year end. A2 is how many employees throughout the year is subjected to monthly tax deduction, or in Malay we call it PCB. A3, how many new employees throughout the year. A4, how many employees has left the company. And A5 is how many employees has ceased the employment and left Malaysia. And A6 is whether or not you reported to LHD and M. Maybe I can give you some hint here. For A1, make sure you tally back to your number of employees at the end of the year, and also make sure EA form has been issued. A2 is number of employees subjected to PCB. That falls into CP39, which you submit monthly. A3 is number of new employees. Those that is taxable, make sure you have submitted your CP22. A4 is number of employees who cease employment or died. Make sure if you have employees who has gone for retirement or died, you need to submit a CP22A to inform the RRBM. A5 is employees who has left the country. That mainly refers to expatriate that has gone back to their home country, or foreign workers going back to their home country. You need to inform the IRB via CP21. All these items here are tagged with a form in which you have to check and make sure everything is in order. What is CP8D on the other hand? CP8D is a summary of employees' remuneration that you pay throughout the year to every single employee. So you need to fill up the name of the employee, the tax reference number, the income that they have received throughout the year. Now, question 5 is how to submit CP8D using eCP8D. maybe I can just clarify one point. For the prior years, how we submit our CP8D is via Form E submission. That means when we submit our Form E, we can submit the CP8D together. That still maintains until now, but there is another option which has been segregated. That refers to those that use upload function. If you are using a payroll software, you can export a file from your payroll system, which is, I think it's a text file or XML file. You can import the file into the Form E and then continue with your submission. But this year, what they did was they segregate this upload function out from Form E. So when you go to Form E, if you see this image at the lower side, there is no more option for you to upload. They have moved this upload function to another option under EC Hasil Services, which is eData PRAIC or CP8D. So they segregated the function. Put it shortly is, if you are using payroll software and you want to upload the file, you need to do two steps. One, go to EC Hasil Services, go to eCP8D, upload the file, and subsequently go back to Form E to submit your form. If you are not using any upload function, you are okay with key in, just go straight to step 2 and forget about eCP8D. In this part of the video, I'm going to teach you how to submit via eCP8D using the upload function. Just go to eCP8D. You can go to employer profile, make sure all the employee profile is correct. Select for 2022 and search and see whether CP8D has been submitted or not. And if you want to submit, go to the next option under submission of CP8D. There are two options here, submission of CP8D via online form or upload. My advice to you, if you're using payroll software, just go to option number 2. Use upload CP8D and make sure the E number is correct, the year of remuneration is correct, select the file name and upload. As simple as that. If you are using the first option, which is through online form, there is this online form that you have to key in the employee's name, the IC number, how many children, and all the compulsory and optional deductions in place, and then save. After you have saved, you will see this summary of employees' data, and subsequently you can proceed to edit or submit it via this arrow button. My advice to you is you can skip this online form and go straight to Form E because I think Form E is much more easier. Question number 6, how to submit Form E with or without CP8D. So go back to the same process again. You just need to log in to My Tag. Choose role selection under Employees Representative. You're using Director's account. Go for Employer under your company name. Go to EC Hasil Services. Go to E-Filing, E-Form 2022 Year of Assessment, and then proceed with submission. There is 3 options here. 1, 2, 3. Look at your left-hand side. The first one is the profile of the employer. Go to profile of the employer. Make sure everything is correct and fill up the details which is missing. For example, whether the company is operating, what is the IC of you submitting that as a representative, etc., etc. And the most important in this page is the last option, which is how you submit your CP8D. If you want to change everything into English, you can always click the button at the corner, EN, so they will translate everything into English. So for cara pengemukaan CP8D, option number 1 is if you are using payroll software and you have uploaded via eCP8D, which we have mentioned in chapter 5, you can choose the first option. Otherwise, you are submitting it manually just to key in, you can go to option number 4 together with Form E. Click continue for that and you will come to page 2. Page 2 is what we have discussed earlier in terms of the details of Form E, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and A6. You can just fill up the numbers, and for option A6 is basically to inform IRB in terms of any employee's tax clearance. After that, you can continue. If you choose upload via eCP8D, this page is not required, but if you choose together with Form E, then you need to fill up this page. CP8D, like I mentioned earlier, is a summary of employees throughout the year that you have given out wages or incentives or salary, etc., etc. Now, basically under this page is more focuses on employment contracts, which is contract of services, and this page includes part-times, foreign workers, interns, all those persons, all those employees. You have to key in the details here. And just to highlight to you is that whoever appear in this CP8D, please ensure Form EA has been issued to them. Continue after you have completed. And if you are a dormant, just click continue if you have completed. Highlight one very important point here is if the company is dormant, you are still required to key in the director's name here, especially those that is managing the company. So let's say the company is formed by one director and one shareholder, you are still required to put the director's name in this CP8D. But he's not receiving any remuneration income, so how should we disclose them? Very simple. You just need to disclose their details here, and I will highlight to you which information that you need to disclose. The first one is the name of the employee, which is the director. Second is the tax number, which in this case is IG number. IC number, choose the category of the employee and choose yes or no for tax borne by employer. And then you can go straight to part I, which is jumlah saran kasa, which is your gross employment income. Just put the 0 and you can save the employee. So make sure at least the director's name are here in this form. The last page is to verify all the details is correct and then key in the position of yourself and submit. Now before you submit, my advice to you is to check the draft and to ensure CP8D information is correctly put in. You can then sign and submit. There's no sign lah. Basically, it's just to ensure everything is correct, then put a position that is considered your sign already. Question number 7, which is our last part, is our due date and a short summary. The due date for submission of CP8D and Form E is 31st March for year of assessment 2022. But if you're using e-filing, like what we have mentioned, e-filing, there is an extension of time, a grace period until 30th April 2023 for year of assessment 2022. Any form of amendment has to be done before 31st March, which is the statutory due date. So make sure if you are submitting after March, so make sure everything is accurate before you submit. Check and check and check and check again. I would like to express my deepest apologies because at the moment is our peak. Hence, we will be focusing on our valued clients first as a priority. If you have issues with technical issues such as the website issue, there's a server problem, you can check with IRB directly as those are beyond our control. Hence, we would appreciate it to just go directly to Inland Revenue Board. While if let's say you need our service, you can always drop us an email. This is our email, admin@ancgroup.biz, or you can WhatsApp to us. We will get our team to respond to you as soon as possible. There are times where some of the students and our followers ask us, hey Song, why do we still need a taxation services? Because we can in fact submit ourselves and you have given all the guides to us. Yes, you are right. Malaysia practices self-assessment system, so you can submit these forms yourself. There is never any issue. But if let's say you engage a tax agent, we will take one step further to reconcile your Form E to ensure your CP8D is correct and then to ensure a PCB reasonable test has been conducted. So we will take a further step to ensure everything is in order before we submit. And we will also, of course, review those information provided by the employers to ensure everything is correct and accurate before we get your consent to submit. So that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for your concentration and time. If you need any of our service, you can always drop us an email. Otherwise, I will put an end to this video and I'll see you in the next one.
对的，要跟你们说，其实这个 form 这边有一个很阴险的东西，也就是下面你们有看到很多密密麻麻的字吗？是不是很复杂，很不想